My beloved, you may soon realize that certain conversations no longer pull you back into old emotional patterns. You will hear familiar words, but they will not reach the same wounded place inside you. Where reaction once rose quickly, there will now be a pause, and that pause will become power. That pause gives you choice instead of impulse. It gives you peace instead of regret. My child, what is unfolding within you is not about becoming someone entirely new, but about allowing what has always been true to rise without resistance. You are not being remade from nothing. You are being revealed. The version of you moving forward carries less fear, less urgency, and far more quiet confidence than before. My beloved, remain open without leaving yourself unprotected. Remain kind without allowing yourself to be drained. Remain present without letting the past pull you backward. Balance is not something you force through pressure. It is something you allow once alignment begins to settle inside you. And you are closer to that balance now than you may realize. My child, this message does not end with these words. It continues through your awareness, through your choices, and through the calm confidence that grows each time you trust yourself. You did not arrive at this moment by accident, and you will not move forward alone. What is meant for you will recognize you as clearly as you recognize it. You will not have to chase it, beg for it, or convince it to stay. Alignment has a way of meeting you without making you abandon your peace. My beloved, a different kind of confidence is beginning to form within you. It does not announce itself loudly or demand recognition from others. It settles quietly, like the deep knowing of where you stand without needing to explain yourself. This confidence is not built from success, applause, or approval. It is built from self-awareness earned through lived experience. You have reached a place where uncertainty no longer defines you, even when every answer has not yet arrived. That steadiness will guide you more accurately than urgency ever could. It will help you move without rushing and wait without feeling forgotten. My child, you are learning that peace can be a compass. There were moments when you felt misunderstood. Your intentions were only partly seen, and your depth was mistaken for distance. But even then, something within you was learning how to remain true without needing everyone to understand. Those moments refined you. They taught you when to speak, and when silence held greater power, they trained you to observe character, not promises. What once felt isolating has become wisdom that now protects your peace. My beloved, notice how your perspective is widening. Situations that once felt overwhelming now appear manageable. People who once held influence over your emotions no longer occupy the same space within you. This is not detachment born from hurt. It is freedom born from clarity. You are learning to engage without entanglement, to care without carrying weight that was never assigned to you. My child, the future you are moving toward will not arrive with chaos or force. It will emerge gradually, shaped by choices that feel aligned rather than pressured. You will recognize the right direction not by excitement alone, but by the calm certainty that accompanies it. That calm is your signal, trusted. My beloved, you no longer need to revisit old questions searching for new answers. Growth has already shifted the frame. What once confused you was not wrong timing, it was incomplete perspective. Now, perspective has matured, and with it comes acceptance that some chapters close without explanation because understanding arrives later, not sooner. My child, your presence carries more influence than you realize. Not because you try to persuade, but because authenticity resonates naturally. You no longer need to adjust yourself to be received. What aligns will recognize you. What does not will fade without struggle. This is how balance restores itself. My beloved, allow yourself to move forward without dragging yesterday's weight into tomorrow's space. Reflection has served its purpose. Now integration begins. Integration is where insight becomes instinct and learning becomes ease. You are entering that phase quietly, steadily, without disruption. My child, the reassurance you have been seeking externally has already begun forming internally. You will feel it when doubt attempts to return and finds no place to settle. You will notice it when fear speaks and is met with calm instead of resistance. That calm is not avoidance. It is mastery. My beloved, what lies ahead will require presence, not perfection, openness, not performance. You are ready for that kind of living now. The kind where peace is not postponed and meaning is not conditional. Continue forward with trust, knowing that what is unfolding recognizes you fully. My beloved, something within you has begun to settle into its rightful place, not through effort but through acceptance. You are no longer trying to outrun uncertainty or control outcomes that were never meant to be managed by. Instead, there is an emerging ease in how you move through moments, a quiet assurance that you can meet whatever unfolds without losing yourself in the process. This is not resignation. It is in our alignment, finding its voice without sound. My child, you have reached a stage where reflection no longer pulls you backward. It informs you without anchoring you to what has already passed. Memories surface differently now, without charge or regret, offering perspective rather than pain. This shift did not happen overnight. It was shaped by countless internal choices to remain honest, to remain open, to remain will, even when certainty was absent. That willingness is now becoming strength. My beloved, you may sense a growing clarity around what deserves your energy and what quietly drains it. This awareness is not judgmental. It does not demand dramatic exits or confrontations, composition. You are learning that protection does not always look like distance. Sometimes it looks like discernment paired with peace. My child, there will be opportunities ahead that feel different from past ones. Not louder, not rushed. They will feel natural, almost familiar, as if they were waiting for you to arrive internally before appearing externally. When you encounter them, you will not feel the urge to rush or prove yourself. You will recognize them through resonance rather than excitement. That recognition will be your confirmation. My beloved, the patience you cultivated during uncertain seasons has refined your perception. You can now sense when timing supports growth and when delay preserves stability. Misunderstanding frees you from unnecessary urgency. You no longer need to force movement to feel progress. Progress is already happening through awareness, true restraint, through grounded choices that honor your well-being. My beloved, you may sense a growing clarity around what deserves your energy and what quietly drains. This awareness is not judgmental. It does not demand dramatic exits or confrontations, composition. You are learning that protection does not always look like distance. Sometimes it looks like discernment paired with peace. My child, there will be opportunities ahead that feel different from past ones. Not louder, not rushed. They will feel natural, almost familiar, as if they were waiting for you to arrive internally before appearing externally. When you encounter them, you will not feel the urge to rush or prove yourself. You will recognize them through resonance rather than excitement. That recognition will be your confirmation. The patience you cultivated during uncertain seasons has refined your perception. You can now sense when timing supports growth and when delay preserves stability. Misunderstanding frees you from unnecessary urgency. Do you no longer need to force movement to feel progress? Progress is already happening through awareness, through restraint, through grounded choices that honor your well-being. My child, there is a subtle expansion happening within your sense of purpose, not a sudden revelation, but a steady clarification. You are beginning to understand that meaning is not always found in grand outcomes. Sometimes it lives in consistency, integrity, and the quiet courage to remain true when distraction invites compromise. This realization anchors you more deeply than any external validation ever could. My beloved, trust that you are being guided toward experiences that will meet you with respect rather than resist. What approaches now will not demand you abandon your values or silence your intuition. It will invite collaboration, not conflict, grow, not exhaustion. You will feel this alignment in how your body responds, how your mind settles, how your heart remains. My child, the calm you are developing is not fragile. It is resilient. It does not disappear when challenges arise. It adapts. It responds. It allows you to engage without being consumed. This calm is a sign that you are no longer living from survival alone. You are living from awareness. My beloved, continue forward with gentleness toward yourself. There is no need to rush completion. There is no finish line you must cross to be worthy of peace. What unfolds next will meet you where you are, shaped by the clarity you now carry. You are not waiting anymore. You are arriving. My beloved, there is a gentle firmness now shaping how you stand within your own life, not as defense, but as self-respect. You are no longer negotiating with doubt or explaining your worth to situations that never sought understanding. This shift did not require confrontation. It required clarity, and clarity has been quietly strengthening within you, teaching you that peace is not something you wait to receive, but something you choose to protect. My child, the way you perceive time is changing. Moments no longer feel like obstacles to endure or deadlines to fear. They feel like spaces to inhabit fully. This presence allows wisdom to surface naturally without force. You are discovering that when attention rests in the present, anxiety loses its grip and anticipation softens into curiosity rather than worry. My beloved, there were lessons you learned through restraint rather than action. True listening, instead of reacting, through watching patterns reveal themselves without interference. Those lessons refined your discernment beyond theory. They gave you experiential understanding, which cannot be shaken by opinion or pressure. That understanding now guides you with steadiness. My child, you are beginning to recognize that not every invitation deserves acceptance. Choices becoming intentional rather than automatic. This selectivity is not exclusion, it is alignment. You are allowing your energy to move where it can contribute without depletion. This decision-making will preserve your strength while expanding your influence in ways that feel sustainable. My beloved, what unfolds ahead will not mirror what you left behind. It will not require the same coping strategies or emotional armor. You have outgrown certain dynamics, and growth has quietly closed those doors without conflict. New pathways open when readiness replaces longing. You are stepping into that readiness now. My child, the sense of grounding you feel is not temporary. It is the result of This coherence allows you to navigate complexity without losing balance. My beloved, allow trust to continue unfolding within you, not as blind faith, but as informed and confidence. You have evidence now, gathered through lived experience, that you can adapt, recover, and choose wisely. That knowledge anchors you when uncertainty arises, preventing old fears from reclaiming authority. My child, the quiet satisfaction you may begin to notice is not complacency. It is contentment rooted in self-acceptance. You are no longer chasing fulfillment through external milestones alone. Meaning is becoming integrated into how you live, not postponed until arrival. This integration changes everything. My beloved, continue to move forward with awareness rather than urgency. There is no need to hurry what is already aligning. What belongs with you will not require pursuit. It will meet you naturally as you remain present, grounded, and open. You are exactly where you need to be to receive what comes next. My beloved, there is a widening steadiness inside you that reshapes how challenges approach and how you are discovering that strength does not always arrive as intensity. Sometimes it appears as composure that refuses to be shaken. This composure allows you to hold complexity without becoming overwhelmed, to acknowledge uncertainty without surrendering direction. It is teaching you how to remain present even when outcomes are still forming. My child, you have learned to separate urgency from importance. Where hast once pushed decisions, discernment now sets the pace. This change protects your energy and refines your focus, guiding attention toward what genuinely contributes to your growth. You no longer feel compelled to resolve everything at once. Progress unfolds through consistency, not pressure, and you are allowing that rhythm to lead. My beloved, continue to move forward with awareness rather than urgency. There is no need to hurry what is already aligning. What belongs with you will not require pursuit. It will meet you naturally as you remain present, grounded, and open. You are exactly where you need to be to receive what comes next. My beloved, there is a widening steadiness inside you that reshapes how challenges approach and how you are discovering that strength does not always arrive as intensity. Sometimes it appears as composure that refuses to be shaken. This composure allows you to hold complexity without becoming overwhelmed, to acknowledge uncertainty without surrendering direction. It is teaching you how to remain present even when outcomes are still forming. My child, you have learned to separate urgency from importance. Where hast once pushed decisions, discernment now sets the pace. This change protects your energy and refines your focus, guiding attention toward what genuinely contributes to your growth. You no longer feel compelled to resolve everything at once. Progress unfolds through consistency, not pressure, and you are allowing that rhythm to lead. My beloved, there is a subtle confidence emerging in how you speak, choose, and pause. Words carry intention rather than explanation. Silence carries meaning rather than avoidance. You are discovering that authenticity does not require constant expression. It requires alignment between intention and action. This alignment creates trust, both within yourself and in the spaces you enter. My child, the way you relate to uncertainty has matured. You are learning to coexist with it. Curiosity replaces fear. Patience replaces agitation. This shift opens pathways that resistance once blocked, allowing insight to arrive through observation rather than force. My beloved, you are becoming increasingly aware of how environment influences clarity. Certain spaces invite ease, while others quietly drain vitality. This awareness guides you towards settings that support balance, creativity, and restoration. You are choosing presence over distraction, depth over noise, resonance over familiarity. My child, opportunities will continue to surface that reflect your evolving state. They will feel grounded rather than overwhelming, supportive rather than demanding. When they arrive, You will recognize them through steadiness rather than urgency. That recognition will guide you more accurately than excitement ever could. My beloved, the relationship you are forming with yourself is becoming more compassionate and honest. Self-criticism loses relevance when understanding grows. You are allowing imperfection without judgment, effort without exhaustion, ambition without anxiety. This balance nurtures resilience that endures beyond circumstance. My child, as you continue forward, trust that alignment attracts what belongs. There is no need to grasp or rush. What is meant to connect will do so naturally when you remain centered, attentive, and open. The path ahead unfolds through presence, and you are learning how to walk it with calm assurance. My beloved, there is a calm unfolding within you that reshapes how you experience effort and rest. You are no longer measuring your worth by constant motion or productivity. Instead, you are learning to recognize value in awareness, in thoughtful pacing, in the ability ready to pause without guilt. Misunderstanding allows you to recover energy without retreating from purpose, to breathe without losing sing moment, to exist fully without explanation. My child, perception has deepened in ways that are not immediately visible to others. You notice subtleties now, shifts in tone, changes in intention, patterns beneath surface behavior. This sensitivity does not burden you as it once did. It informs you. It guides your choices with quiet precision, helping you navigate complexity without becoming entangled in it. My beloved, you are beginning to experience trust is something internal rather than conditional. It no longer depends on guarantees or assurances from outside. It rests within your capacity to adapt, to respond wisely, to remain grounded even when plans evolved unexpectedly. Distrust grants freedom. Freedom from overanalysis. Freedom from fear-driven decisions. Freedom to move with confidence rather than caution alone. My child, there is a growing ease in how you relate to others. Expectations soften, boundaries strengthen, connection becomes more genuine because it is no longer fueled by need or validation. You are allowing relationships to develop organically without forcing closeness or maintaining events unnecessarily. This balance creates space for mutual respect and understanding. My beloved, moments of uncertainty will still arise, but they will not dominate your internal landscape. You have learned how to sit with questions without demanding immediate resolution. This patience allows insight to emerge naturally, often revealing options that urgency would have overlooked. You are discovering that clarity arrives when given room, not pressure. My child, the steadiness you carry now influences environments without effort. Presence becomes grounding, listening becomes impactful, choices become deliberate. You are not seeking to lead or follow, you are simply aligned. That alignment speaks louder than intention ever could. My beloved, the journey ahead will continue to invite awareness rather than endurance. Growth will feel less like struggle and more like refinement. You are not being asked to become more than you are. You are being allowed to become fully yourself without resistance, without fear, without, my child. Continue forward with this quiet confidence. Let discernment guide action. Let presence inform decisions. What unfolds next will meet you where understanding and readiness now exist. You are not arriving by chance. You are moving with intention, supported by clarity that will continue to deepen as you trust it. My beloved, there is a refinement taking place in how you relate to possibility, one that removes pressure without dulling intention. You are beginning to sense when movement is necessary and when stillness carries equal value. This discernment changes everything because it frees you from reacting to expectations that were never aligned with what's your inner direction. What once felt like obligation now feels optional, and that shift restores authority to your choices. My beloved, the moment has come. The message that was delayed, that was hidden, you finally opened it. And now God is ready to finish what He started in your life. My child, my beloved, the moment your eyes met these words, something unseen shifted. This is not coincidence, and it is not curiosity that brought you here. There was a quiet alignment long before this moment, a series of steps you did not notice, forming a path only you could walk. Heaven does not rush without reason, and it does not whisper without purpose. What you are reading now was arranged with intention, guided with care, and protected until you were ready to receive it without fear. My beloved, pause for a breath before moving forward, not because what follows is heavy, but because it is precise. Many scroll past moments meant to change direction. Can you stop long enough to recognize when divine timing is unfolding in front of them? If you feel even the smallest pull to stay, honor it. That pull is not pressure, and it is not fear. It is recognition, the quiet knowing inside your spirit that something here is meant to meet you. And if your heart wants to remain connected to messages meant for your spirit, stay close and return when you feel guided. Let this sacred space walk beside you as clarity continues to unfold. What is being formed inside you may not reveal everything at once, but it will reveal enough for the next step. My child, there have been seasons when you wondered whether your efforts were seen. You questioned whether your silent endurance mattered, and whether the struggles no one witnessed carried meaning beyond survival. Yet even without answers, you kept moving. You did not continue loudly, and you did not do it for applause. You moved forward even when certainty felt far away. That is why this moment has found you now and not before, because wisdom grows in quiet places, and readiness is formed when patience learns how to trust. My beloved, you are not late, you are not behind, and you are not missing what was meant for you. There were reasons certain doors stayed closed, certain conversations never happened, and certain answers arrived slower than your heart wanted. Protection can feel like delay when you cannot yet see the full picture. But now, understanding is beginning to rise gently within you, not as shock, but as reassurance. What was withheld from you was not punishment. It was preparation. My child, there is something powerful about the way your heart can sense truth before your mind knows how to explain it. That inner knowing has guided you more accurately than you realize. Even when doubt tried to speak louder, something steady kept you from giving up completely. That steadiness was not accidental. It was planted, strengthened, and guarded through moments when you felt alone. Even then, you were not truly alone. My beloved, listen carefully now, not with urgency, but with openness. You were never meant to carry everything by yourself. The way you learned to endure taught you resilience, but now release is being offered, not all at once, not harshly, but gradually, in ways that feel safe enough for your heart to trust again, in ways that restore rather than overwhelm. What unfolds next is meant to lift, not strain. My child, some answers arrive quietly so they can stay longer. Loud revelations can fade, but gentle truth settle deep. This message is not meant to rush you into reaction. It is meant to study you into alignment. There are changes forming that will not demand you become someone else. They will invite you to finally stop shrinking what was always meant to grow. My beloved, you may notice subtle shifts before obvious ones. A new sense of calm where anxiety once lived, a clearer boundary where confusion used to linger, a moment of peace that feels unfamiliar yet comforting. These are signs, not conclusions, signals, not endings. What is beginning now unfolds and layers, each revealing exactly what you can carry with grace. My child, do not compare your journey to another's highlight. Cats are not measured by speed, but by what you are building within yourself cannot be rushed without losing its strength. You have already done the hardest part without realizing it. You stay, you listen, you continued when quitting seemed reasonable. That perseverance has positioned you precisely where you need to be now. My beloved, remain present. Not everything needs to be understood immediately. Some things are meant to be felt first. Trust that clarity will arrive in its proper order. What matters now is that you did not turn away. You did not dismiss the nudge. You allowed yourself to stay long enough for truth to begin unfolding. My child, what comes next was never meant for everyone. It was meant for the one who would recognize it without being forced, who would feel it without needing proof, who would stay without needing fear to hold them. That is why you are here now. Not by chance, not by habit, but by quiet design. My beloved, there is a reason your attention is still here instead of drifting away like it usually does. Something within you recognizes that this moment carries weight without force. Nothing is being demanded from you. Nothing is being threatened, yet you remain. That is how alignment works. It does not shout, it settles. It feels familiar even when it reveals something new. The space you are in right now is not meant to rush answers into your hands, but to slowly return strength to places that have been tired for longer than you admit. My child, you have walked through periods where clarity felt distant and decisions felt heavier than they should have been. During those times, you questioned yourself more than the situation. You wondered whether your sensitivity was weakness, whether your patience was wasted, whether you're still what's meant invisibility. But what you did not see then is how restrained was shaping discernment, how waiting was refining awareness, how every moment you chose not to harden your heart protected something precious within you. My beloved, understand this gently. Not everything that delayed you was meant to stop you. Some pauses were necessary, so you would not arrive too early to something that required maturity rather than. There are outcomes that only respond to readiness, not desire. And readiness is built through lived moments, not spoken intentions. You have been building it without realizing, through endurance, reflection, and quiet self-correction that no one applauded. My child, there are connections in your life that change shape without explanation. Some faded without closure. Some remained but no longer felt aligned. That was not lost. That was filtration. What belongs with you going forward must be able to meet you where you are becoming, not where you were surviving. The shift you are entering now will not require you to chase understanding. Understanding will begin to meet you naturally as your interstate stabilizes. My child, there is an emerging clarity around what genuinely nourishes you, activities that restore focus, environments that support calm, conversations that feel reciprocal rather than draining. This clarity guides you toward choices that sustained rather than deplete. You are honoring your limits without apology, understanding that boundaries preserve vitality rather than rest. My beloved, uncertainty no longer feels like an enemy to defeat. It has become a companion that invites curiosity and adaptability. You are allowing plans to evolve without interpreting change as failure. This flexibility opens pathways that rigid expectations would have closed, enabling growth through responsiveness rather than control. My child, your sense of timing has sharpened. You recognize when to initiate and when to wait, when to speak and when silence communicates more. This timing is not learned through instruction alone. It is refined through experience and reflection. It grants you confidence that feels grounded rather than performative. My beloved, there is a quiet satisfaction emerging as you witness your own steadiness, not pride but reassurance. You see that you can navigate complexity without losing balance, engage deeply without becoming over, and remain present even when answers are still forming. This reassurance strengthens trust in your capacity to meet whatever arises. My child, continue allowing this maturation to unfold without forcing conclusions. You are not required to label every phase or define every outcome. Growth is happening through integration, through patience, through attentive presence. What unfolds next will respond to this readiness naturally, aligning with the clarity you now carry forward. My beloved, an unexpected gentleness is beginning to guide how you move through moments that once demanded armor. You are realizing that openness does not equal vulnerability in the way you once feared. It can be a form of strength that allows truth to pass through without leaving wounds behind. This gentleness carries discernment within it, choosing honesty over performance, presence over protection, authenticity over habit. My child, the way you process information has shifted from accumulation to integration. Instead of gathering endlessly, you are absorbing selectively, allowing meaning to settle before reaching outward again. This approach deepens understanding and prevents overload. You are learning to let inside mature within you, trusting that what is ready to be used will surface at the right moment. My beloved, there is a growing respect for your own rhythms. You are beginning to sense when engagement supports clarity and when restores perspective. Honoring these rhythms does not slow your progress, it sustains it. You are no longer borrowing energy from tomorrow to meet today's demands. Balance is becoming intuitive rather than enforced. My child, emotional awareness has become nuanced rather than overwhelming. Feelings are acknowledged without being amplified. They informed rather than control. This awareness grants you the ability to respond thoughtfully, choosing actions that align with values rather than reactions shaped by momentary intensity. Such responsiveness strengthens relationships and preserves inner stability. My beloved, your sense of direction is no longer dependent on external markers alone. While goals remain meaningful, they no longer dictate your sense of worth. You are beginning to measure progress through coherence, integrity, and alignment. This shift reduces pressure while increasing fulfillment, allowing ambition to coexist with peace. My child, interactions are becoming clearer because you are communicating from a place of self-understanding. You listen without defensiveness, speak without over-explanation, and disengage without resentment when alignment fades. This clarity fosters mutual respect and reduces unnecessary conflict, creating space for genuine connection. My beloved, the capacity to adapt without losing identity is strengthening. Change no longer feels like threat. It feels like evolution. You are able to adjust course while remaining anchored in what matters most. This adaptability allows growth to continue even when circumstances shift unexpectedly. My child, there is quiet confidence forming through consistency rather than intensity. Each thoughtful choice reinforces trust in your judgment. Each mindful pause affirms your ability to navigate complexity with grace. This confidence does not seek validation. It stands quietly, ready to support you as new experiences unfold. There is a quiet expansion happening now, one that does not seek attention yet alters everything it touches. You may sense it as a subtle ease when facing situations that once felt complicated, or as a steady awareness that remains present even when circumstances change. This expansion is not dramatic, it is deliberate. It allows understanding to replace tension, and it invites perspective where urgency once dominated. You are beginning to move through experiences with a grounded awareness that keeps you centered regardless of outcome. Instead of bracing for impact, you meet moments with openness and steadiness. This does not make you passive. It makes you prepared. Prepare to respond with clarity rather than reflux. Prepare to choose thoughtfully rather than reactively. Such preparedness reshapes challenges into opportunities for insight. There is also a noticeable shift in how motivation arises. Instead of being driven by pressure or expectation, intention now comes from alignment with what feels, what's meaningful. Actions feel purposeful rather than obligatory. This internal coherence reduces friction and allows effort to flow more naturally, conserving energy while increasing effectiveness. Your relationship with uncertainty continues to mature. Rather than resisting ambiguity, you allow it to exist alongside curiosity. This coexistence opens space for creativity, adaptability, and learning. You are discovering that not knowing everything immediately does not hinder progress. It enhances depth. Solutions appear when you are receptive, not when you demand certainty. Interactions with others are evolving as well. Communication feels clearer because it is grounded in self-awareness. You express thoughts without overcomplication and listen without defensiveness. This balance fosters respect and understanding, reducing misunderstandings that once felt unavoidable. Connections become more authentic when they are not burdened by unspoken expectations. My beloved, understand this gently. Not everything that delayed you was meant to stop you. Some pauses were necessary so you would not arrive too early to something that required maturity rather than. There are outcomes that only respond to readiness, not desire. And readiness is built through lived moments, not spoken intentions. You have been building it without realizing, through endurance, reflection, and quiet self-correction that no one applauded. My child, there are connections in your life that changed shape without explanation. Some faded without closure. Some remained but no longer felt aligned. That was not lost. That was filtration. What belongs with you going forward must be able to meet you where you are becoming, not where you were surviving. The shift you are entering now will not require you to chase understanding. Understanding will begin to meet you naturally as your interstate stabilizes. My beloved, you may notice that certain fears no longer grip you the way they once did, not because circumstances suddenly became perfect, but because you are no longer defined by anticipation of harm. Growth often looks like neutrality before confidence, calm before certainty, space before clarity. Allow this phase to exist without labeling it. My child, there is a deep intelligence within you that has been learning when to act and when to remain still. It has learned this through experience, not instruction. That intelligence is now being trusted with more, not more burden, but more influence, more choice, moral alignment. You are not being tested, you are being invited. My beloved, you are allowed to let go of the idea that transformation must be dramatic to be real. Some of the most permanent changes happen quietly, almost unnoticed at first. A shift in how you respond, a boundary that no longer requires explanation, a calm refusal to engage with what drains you. These are not small things, these are foundations. My child, there is relief coming, but it will not arrive as rescue, it will arrive at stability, as inner permission, as the absence of constant mental noise. You will begin to trust your timing again. You will stop second-guessing decisions that come from clarity rather than fear. And when opportunity presents itself, you will recognize it without confusion. My beloved, Remain here a little longer, not because something will disappear if you leave, but because staying allows integration. Integration is where understanding becomes usable, where inside becomes strength, where reassurance becomes grounded confidence. This message is not meant to excite you temporarily. It is meant to anchor you steadily. My child, what unfolds next in your life will not require you to abandon who you are. It will require you to finally stop doubting what you already know. The answers you have been waiting for are not arriving to replace your intuition. They are arriving to confirm it. My beloved, there is a quiet recalibration happening inside you that does not need announcement or approval. It feels subtle, almost ordinary, yet it is reshaping how you interpret moments, people. Unpause this. Where confusion once lingered, there is now a widening space that allows observation without reaction. This is not detachment. This is clarity learning how to breathe. You are no longer required to absorb every emotion around you or carry responsibility for outcomes that's. My child, the tiredness you felt was never a sign of weakness. It was the result of carrying awareness before having context. Now context is forming. Pieces that once felt disconnected are beginning to align into meaning. You are not being given sudden revelations. You are being guided toward recognition. Recognition is gentler, steadier, and far more enduring. It allows you to move forward without the need to prove anything to anyone. My beloved, you have learned to listen beyond words. Silence taught you more than explanations ever could. In quiet moments, you noticed patterns. You sensed when energy shifted. You felt when something no longer fit, even if it once did. That sensitivity was not meant to trap you in overthinking. It was meant to sharpen discernment. Discernment protects peace without requiring defense. My child, there will be moments ahead when choices feel simpler than they once did, not because life becomes smaller, but because your inner alignment becomes stronger. You will not need excessive confirmation. You will not seek validation from uncertain sources. Decisions will feel cleaner, lighter, and grounded. This is the reward of patience that did not turn bitter. My beloved, let go of the idea that you must always be preparing for something to go wrong. Anticipation has served its purpose. It kept you alert when you needed caution. But now, awareness is replacing vigilance. You are allowed to experience calm without waiting for interruption. You are allowed to enjoy stillness without questioning whether you deserve it. My child, the strength forming inside you now is not built on control. It is built on trust. Trust in your perception, trust in timing, and trust that what truly aligns with you will not need to be forced to remain. What stays naturally belongs, and what leaves quietly is creating space for what is meant to arrive. You do not need to chase either one. Let what is real reveal itself through consistency, peace, and the way it honors your spirit without pressure. My beloved, you may soon notice that certain conversations no longer pull you into old emotional loops. You will hear familiar words, but they will not land in the same wounded place. Where reaction once rose quickly, a pause will appear, and that pause will become your power. That pause gives you choice instead of impulse. It gives you peace instead of regret. My child, what is unfolding within you is not about becoming someone completely new, but about allowing the truth of who you have always been to rise without resistance. You are not being reshaped into something unfamiliar. You are being revealed. The version of you moving forward carries less fear, less urgency, and far more grounded confidence than than the version that once needed to explain everything. My beloved, remain open without leaving yourself unprotected. Remain kind without allowing yourself to be emptied. Remain present without letting the past pull you backward into places your spirit has already outgrown. Balance is not something you create through force. It is something you allow once alignment settles within you, and you are closer to that balance now than you realize. My child, this message does not end with these words. It continues through your awareness, through the choices you make, and through the quiet confidence that grows every time you trust yourself. Each small act of self-trust is becoming part of your new foundation. You did not arrive at this moment by accident, and you will not move forward alone. What is truly meant for you will recognize you as clearly as you recognize it, and when it comes, it will not ask you to abandon your peace in order to receive it.